want optimism, go to Fox News.
Okay, let me jump in here real quick. I know there's a lot of people in the room wanting to ask questions. We have 2 wireless mics. We've got one here, and we've got one over here. Eddie, he's waving his hand. He's in the dark. He's over there. If you'd like to ask a question, we ask that you get up out of your seat and come and get in either of the 2 lines. The reason we're doing this is if you're on the front row and you ask a question without the microphone, nobody in the back of the room hears the question. So this is the way we're going to do it. My apologies to the folks in the first 2 rows. This is the way we need to do it. If you want to ask a question, please get in line at either of the 2 microphones. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm looking to turn y'all off. Kevin, I had a question for you. So, because technology's pace has increased, and also the type of shows are quite different, have you learned anything from the past, like previous shows, in terms of how to bring that technology to the forefront?
Could you read this a little louder?
Oh, sorry. Technology, the pace of technology has increased rapidly, and also the type of science and technology that's expressed in the 2 shows are very different. Have you learned any lessons from the past in terms of bringing those out, the suggestions that you make? How do those affect those choices?
You know, I know Andrew Romanos, who's a science advisor for Trek, and our jobs are very different. He has to speculate a lot more than do I. I inherited from Ron something very benevolent, where essentially, in many respects, Galactica went backwards in technology. So there are areas where technology is actually behind where we are right now. So it's you know, a lot of basic science. I don't have to do the speculative things that they did on Star Trek. I just stick to straight basic science. Now, having said that, they actually listen to me most of the time, and we actually catch flack sometimes for doing things right, believe it or not. There's a great example was in last season. We had Tyrell and Callaghan going on an airlock, and we did that right. We did it right. They got the bends. They didn't explode. They didn't, they didn't freeze. They didn't do all the things that you would think they would do. And because they didn't do all those things, people have been saddled with bad science for 50 years. We got crap for it. So I just try to stick to straight basic, strong science, and we don't do a lot of speculation in Galactica. Not a lot. I mean, if you can deal with FTL and artificial gravity, that's about the only place where we make a big jump. Does that answer your question?
Since I just will say that, I agree that times change and people's tastes change and, things evolve. But basically, the one thing that, and I don't know your show, okay? But, no, I mean, I don't watch TV, so I don't know. But I know. But hopefully,
You took a shot at our science, so did he take a shot at our
take a shot.
But
here's what I was going to say is, I wonder though, the one thing that I have to say I thought was awesome about Star Trek was I really did like the philosophy of the Prime Directive. And actually, maybe if we had a little more of that happening, we wouldn't be in Iraq.
I recently read an article online that was talking about the Wild West genre of films and TV shows and how it basically played itself out. You don't see shows like that anymore. You don't see movies too much like that anymore. And the article, the premise was that science fiction is headed that way as well. Obviously, I don't believe that because I'm here at DragonCon enjoying all of this. But I just wonder what you all thought about that. Is science fiction played out? Are they done with plot devices? Is it headed like the Wild West genre, or is there more new things you can do with that genre? And how is it different from the Wild West genre?
I think there's an easy answer to that one. A good story is a good story, and it doesn't really matter what genre it's set in, which is why Firefly works, why BattleStar works, why any of that. I worked on it too. I was one of those people in a dark room sat in front of a computer for many hours. Yeah. But anyway, I think it's about the story. It's not about the genre. So I think a Western, you could remake any Western. It's been done multiple times. Look at any good story, it can be retold in any genre. So I think a Western sci-fi, but it doesn't matter.
If you look at Star Trek, I mean, some of the classic television arcs, the classic television stories have been told in Star Trek as well. I mean, in every incarnation, everything from the classic Amnesia episodes to every genre of television has their, you've done Westerns. I remember Next Generation, I remember Western plots, I remember Nazis, I remember everything has been used. History, forwards and backwards, which is, I think, history is the most exciting thing. And if you have a show that's on for that amount of time that can address all those things, you're right, it's just the telling of a story is what it's all about.
Yeah, I think that in any genre what you want to avoid, and what probably doomed the Western as an ongoing presence in popular culture, was that it fell victim to its own stereotypes. And yeah, I guess cars got in the way of horses too. And science fiction has to watch out for doing the same thing, falling prey to itself. And the best science fiction is the one that has challenging stories. I think that's one of the reasons why Galactica is so successful, because its stories are just great stories set in a fictional universe. And Star Trek can learn from that, as it moves forward. Star Trek laid down the pavement, but now it's time to, get a horse or get a better car and start riding on it.
So you want to have a horse on pavement? Is that what we're going with, horses on pavement? Just to be clear. BattleStar also hires great actors like Jamie Bamber, who's very, very handsome. And that is also the secret to the success of the show. Very handsome Jamie Bamber.
But I will kill to be as butch as Iron Man.
You've got 3 weeks to start playing footsie with me under the table.
Why do you think I wore flip-flops? I need some Kleenex after I do.
You have a really long, big toe. I think that's how your toe is at.
Sorry to interrupt the Pentagon, but I have a question.
Somebody end this, please.
That's a good question.
Stop.
All right, my question is, you bring up like maybe tastes have changed, but also there's a large time span between the original BattleStar Galactica and the new series. Much like there's a big time span between the original series and the next generation. It said that like absence makes the heart grow fonder. Could that be the case? We've been inundated with Star Trek series after Star Trek series after Star Trek series, and BattleStar is something new. It is the next generation. It's another younger generation seeing that for the first time. If Star Trek were to go away for another 20 years, do you think it would like amass the population, and BattleStar would stay around constantly in the media? Do you think we'd see the opposite? I mean, there were a lot more cheers in the audience for BattleStar. I'm a Trekkie, sorry. But do you think that would be the case? Do you think that maybe it's new to people?
I think you're dead right. I mean, I think 25 years is a long time to sort of forget and to start again. If you're making the same show constantly for 30, 40 years, you're never going to evolve at the same pace as society. And the 25-year break means that the thing had to be reinvented from the ground up. You couldn't do that with a show that's constantly on the air, otherwise you'd piss off the viewers that you've got watching the show. If suddenly you tuned in next season and it was completely different.
Yeah, but if we do it again in 20 years, can I be the captain this time?